Hi, I'm Jim Clark, and welcome to Cavalier Weekly, talking with men's and women's cross-country coach Rob Mizicko. And Rob, a very successful first season. But first, talk about Saturday's races here to win the season.
Yeah, we ended the season with the 5K here at Walsh. Usually it's a pre-meet for our regional meet, which we were unfortunately not allowed to be a part of this year, so next year it'll be a little bit different. So it ended on a little bit of a faster note with the 5K. Our kids ran well. Because of the whole switch up to the NCAA Division II scheduling, we were unfortunately not able to get as many teams in, so it was just us, Malone, and Point Park from Pittsburgh. We ran well. We've been running as consistent as we've been all year. Unfortunately, we got all kinds of rain the night before, which slowed down the course, so our kids did not run as fast as they probably could have. But we still had a lot of PRs set. A lot of kids ran their best 5Ks that they've run. So that shows progress in the training, progress in the direction that we're going as a program.
And all in all, a very successful first year for you. Talk about the men first.
The men, coming into the season, we knew we were going to have a little bit more depth on the men's side than the women's side. Before Coach McCallion retired from coaching 2 years ago, he brought in a pretty good class. And in that class was Justin Gruber, Jackson Zarimba, Justin Eddy, those guys that are scoring for us. So we knew coming into it that we had quite a bit of talent on the men's side, that we knew we just had to come up with a couple more pieces. And they stayed healthy the entire season, and it showed. It's pretty exciting. We know we just have a couple pieces because these guys, most of the team's back. So, we lose a couple, but we're real excited. If we can add a couple more pieces in the next year's recruiting class, we think we can really close that gap on some of these GLIAC schools.
Who surprised you on that men's team this year?
Well, Justin Gruber really had taken that next step this past year. We knew he was good coming in, but what he was able to do consistently this year and without injury. He was pretty injury-plagued in high school. And you never know when you come in and make that first-year adjustment to that 8K distance. It's a shock to the system. So this sophomore season for him was definitely the most impressive. I mean, it's been quite a few years since we've had a guy running sub-5-minute pace for 5 miles. And he did that consistently. And, probably is, I haven't, crunched the numbers to see where he fits in the history, but it's been quite a few years since we've had a guy, probably back into the early 90s, late 80s, that we've had someone as competitive as he was all year.
And the women also a very successful year. Talk about them.
Definitely very young on the women's side, but Lissa Yoder did an outstanding job leading the team. The one senior that we had in the lineup, there's no juniors, so we bring everyone back except for Lissa. But Lissa just did a great job out front for us, pushing and just being the team leader. And she had Kelsey Fuller behind her, Annie, and then with the rest of the freshmen, the attitude on the women's side, I couldn't have been more pleased with. They were excited to come to practice, they were excited to work hard, and they were excited to be a team. And that teamship that they have together really showed. And that's a credit to Lissa and her hard work ethic and the relentless effort that she puts into the summer training and everything.
I'll give you the same question. Who jumped out women's side that maybe surprised you a little bit?
I think Kelsey Dickey had an outstanding season as our number 2. Kelsey came in with relatively no cross-country experience. She ran a little bit in high school, but she didn't run 4 years of high school like a lot of the kids do. And just from where she dropped from last year, I'm coming in as a new coach. I didn't know a lot of the background of these kids until I started on the job and started doing some research. And Kelsey was not a highly recruited athlete. She was more of a volleyball player in high school that came over to cross country. And what she was able to do, she went from being a 20.5-minute 5K runner last year to a 19.5 5K runner this year. That was a big jump. So that was definitely a pleasant surprise, and that's definitely what we need as a leader next year.
What did you learn in your first year as the season went on?
I learned that this is awesome. It really is. After spending 18 years at the high school level, which I love the sport, I have a passion for the sport, I learned that it's just the collegiate athlete is different. The collegiate athlete is more dedicated. The collegiate athlete is more in tone to the inner workings of a team, inner workings of what it takes to get to that next level. And the maturity level is much improved from what I'm used to at the high school level. The kids respond very well. And if you get them to buy into the program, which I feel that we did, we're going to go into the right, in the right direction in the future. I also learned that there's a lot of paperwork in NCAA, and I'm in it with everybody else. I mean, this is new for everyone in the school, so it's not the guys that have been around like JY, and they're doing the same thing I'm doing for the first time. So, but it's a lot of paperwork. I wish I had more time to coach, but it seems like it's a lot of time behind a computer. And I'm sure as the weeks go on, years go on, that things will kind of smooth out a little bit. But it's a little overwhelming at the beginning.
Rob, you had a great first year. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for taking time week to week with us.
I appreciate it. Look forward to track season.
I'm Jim Clark, and that's our Cross Country Weekly for this week.